Hey guys, welcome back. We talked a little bit about Eufaula and the refuge and how to stay out of it and that kind of stuff. The problem you got with Seminole, okay, if you're not familiar with it, Seminole's fed on the east side that comes down through Bainbridge by the Flint. And then you've got Spring Creek, and on the far west side of the lake, you've got the Chattahoochee River. Now, be mindful of the state line. This is where a good graph comes in hand that shows the state line. So, I don't know if you can see it on here or not, but you see this little line that runs up through here? It goes up and shows you where the state line is, and down there it's not Alabama to the west, it's Florida. And right over here on the Florida side, there's the dam right there, and see that? Three Rivers State Park. That's where the Florida DNR likes to put in. And they will sit there and watch for people to cross over into Florida. I know it's tempting when you're chasing that big gator, and I'm gonna go ahead and tell you there's not a whole lot of room for error on the Chattahoochee. There's a heck of a lot more water on the Chattahoochee that belongs to Florida in some places in Georgia. So that applies going up the river also. That state line is clearly marked on every machine I got. I run Lowrance machines, I've run Hummingbirds, whatever. It's marked. Keep yourself out of trouble. Know where you're at. Somebody just messaged me not too long ago today and said, hey, I'm putting in for zone 2, I got 7 points, probably gonna draw. Where do I go? Where do I start? Lake Seminole's a big lake. Let me tell you something about Seminole, okay? If you've never been on Lake Seminole, it would definitely help you to go with somebody that has been on Seminole. Wear your life jackets on Seminole, because the geniuses that decided to flood Lake Seminole, they cut cypress trees about sometimes not even 4 inches below the surface, and you might look out across and think, wow, I can just cut right across here. No, you can't. A rule of thumb is if you see one stump sticking up out of the water, there's more that you don't see. And I'll tell you that area between the Chattahoochee and where the Flint runs into the Chattahoochee, that whole center section of the Flint, from about where the Indian Mounds are all the way up to in front of Wingates, is slammed full of standing timber in the middle. So let's just say you're coming down the Chattahoochee. As long as you stay within those channel markers and you make that left turn to go up the Flint, you'll be fine. I'm not going to tell you to run to the right or left. I'm going to tell you stay in the channel. Because if I'm not there to show you exactly where the stumps are, where the treetops are and everything, I don't want you coming back and saying, hey, you told me I could go this way and I tore up my boat and blah, 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 blah. Jeff Cahey's not going to tell you that, okay? I'm going to tell you to follow the effing channel markers and stay safe. Wear your life jacket, especially at night. That's a rule I got. If you're on my boat and we're running airboat at night or whatever, there's been a lot of people throwing out all kinds of boats, okay? That's not the lake you want to get thrown out on, believe me. If you're wondering where to go, this guy asked me, I don't know where to go, I don't know where to start. Okay, I'm going to tell you the safest place you can start, okay? There's some really good hunting north of Bainbridge on the Flint. You can put in and hunt north of the train trestle. There's a big bay area up there that's loaded with big gators. They don't care if it's in the area with their people, because people aren't going to be out there at night. The Flint, all the way down to the main lake, is a good place. So the Flint's clean. You don't have to worry too much about stumps and stuff like that. If you choose to go to the Chattahoochee, just remember where the state line is. The Chattahoochee probably has the cleanest bottom, because they used to run a lot of barges up and down the Chattahoochee before they closed the lock at the dam that you follow. But anyway, the Chattahoochee's pretty clean, and both of them are fairly shallow. Especially Chattahoochee over in the Bay area. If you're put the dam to your back and you're looking north, everything to the right of that first point is called the bay. Everything in the bay is shallow, and that's a good place to look. There's probably going to be a lot of boats there because everybody knows about the bay. If there is a lot of boats, don't worry about it, just go somewhere else. If you are in the area of Sealy Point, there's a boat ramp called Sealy Point. Let me go ahead and tell you, everything out in front of Sealy Point has standing timber both sides of the channel until it hits the Flint River. Once it hits the Flint River, the channel goes left, it goes right. If you don't go left or right and you try to go straight across, you're going to run through cypress trees underneath the water. If you don't know how hard a cypress tree is, put it this way, termites won't eat it. Okay? It doesn't rot. These swamp bloggers that you see on TV, that's what they're getting off the bottom of these rivers. It's cypress trees that's been underwater for 50, 60, 70 years. They don't rot. Okay? They're hard. They will mess you up. They will tear your boat up. They'll punch a hole in your boat. It's really hard to try and land a gator around all those trees because they know where every damn one of them's at. Believe me, if you hook a big gator anywhere near those channels, you better have your ducks in a row, and there is a way that you can beat him. You're not going to beat him with your rod and reel. You can beat him with your boat. If you got a strong enough trolling motor and that gator starts towards those standing timber or whatever, put the trolling motor in reverse and use the boat. Point your rod straight at him, put your finger on the spool, and control your drag. Don't let it get too tight where it breaks, but you can back him up. You can get him back, and you keep him in that channel area till you can get him to the surface, get a harpoon in him, shoot him a crossbow, get an arrow in him, whatever. It's a little bit of insurance once you get that, but you got to talk him into coming up first. If you talk real sweet to him, sometimes it helps. There's some good places to put in on the Flint, on Seminole. If you put in at Spring Creek at Big Jim's, it's a good ramp. It's a great ramp. But when you come out, just go out there during the day and get familiar with it, because as soon as you come out of Spring Creek, you're going to be dumped right in the middle of the biggest nightmare standing timber you've ever seen in your life. And it's very narrow. When you meet a boat, it sucks. Believe me, it sucks. Especially if the other boat doesn't slow down Like there are some idiots out there that think it's cool to pass you around 70 in a bass boat, and it's not. Okay. Give room. That's all I can tell you, because this is barely wide enough for two boats to pass without hitting each other. If you want to avoid the nightmare of standing timber, put it on the flint. Stay on the flint. Up the river. Not when it opens up into the mouth of the lake, like down near Wingates. Put in on the upper Chattahoochee. You can put in way far north on Chattahoochee and not have to deal with any stumps, stand timber, whatever. That's my professional advice to you, to keep you out of the timber, okay? All right. I'm going to answer some more questions on the next video, and just remember, time's ticking. You only got